Hey everybody. I'm going to start off by saying this is not going to be a funny video. Well, it might be funny, I don't know, I might screw up. But I'm not going to be dumping ice on my head. No, I was not nominated, which is, yeah, that's fine. I'm making this video because it's September, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is a cause that is very close to many, many people's hearts, including mine, because when I was 16, I was diagnosed with cancer. A childhood cancer at 16. Um, and a lot of people think that, like, when you're done your treatment, you're just done. And that was a piece of your past, and that's it, you can move on now. That's not exactly true. I'm still dealing with a lot of the side effects from it. I have a lot of chronic pain that I deal with every day, chronic fatigue that'll just hit me like that, and I have no idea that it's coming on. I get no warning signs, anything like that. The medications that I was on, even though they saved my life, which is, you know, it's awesome. It is. It's pretty sweet. They also gave me a vascular necrosis in my knees, my hips, and my shoulders, which means that the blood vessels that lead to the bones are actually dying, which means that they're not giving the bones the oxygen, which then leads the bones to die. When you look at my x-rays, I have long white bone like everybody else does, and then at the ends of my bone I actually have big gray masses where the bone is dead. And I also have a lot of pain in my low back because I had at least 23 spinal taps in 2.5 years. So this is something that I'm still dealing with now, even though I finished my treatment April 2009, and it's 5.5 years later. I'm still dealing with it. I still go to my long-term follow-up appointments, which is kind of nice because I get to see the nurses that I don't usually get to see. And when people are willing to talk, because usually when you're in there, you're not really that open to talking. They ask which kid is mine, and then I tell them none of them. I was the kid. And then they sometimes start talking, sometimes just kind of give me a oh my god look, and then move on. I like the talking because I always liked hearing the success stories. It kind of made me feel a little bit better. It also made me feel really depressed sometimes because I was like, well, why can't I be there yet? But going back and being able to be that person that, oh my god, you got through it, I think gives a lot of hope to a lot of people that are going through it right now, which is awesome. Not to say that I don't go, yeah, I lived, but these are the crappy parts about it. I don't do that. That would be awful and mean. There are really crappy parts of it, though. There are. And I know I'm not really supposed to say that. I'm just supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be grateful, and I should just live life to the fullest every single freaking day. But there's crappy parts about it. Like the pain and the fatigue and the mainly those. Mainly those two. The pain and the fatigue. Those ones are the biggest parts of it sucking. Anyway, so since I was a teenager and I had cancer, a childhood cancer, I was treated in the Alberta Children's Hospital, which I'm glad. I'm happy I was treated there instead of the adult hospital. Tom Baker, I think, is a very, very different experience. The nurses had to, I think the nurses acted a lot differently at the children's hospital than they do at the adult hospital because they're dealing with really little kids all the time, which is great because they're a lot more personable, I feel like. Then again, sometimes certain nurses would come into my room and start talking to me like I was a 5-year-old, which I wasn't, and I hated that. But a lot of nurses went out of their way to come in and talk to me in an age-appropriate way, and I'm really, really thankful for that. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Okay, I was going to tell more stories, but I can't remember where I was going to go with this. So I'll go on to the next little bit of stuff I wanted to talk about, which is that I'm starting my thesis this semester. This month, 2 days. 2 days from now, I get to start my thesis, which is really, really exciting to me because it's something that I really want to research, and I've really wanted to research it for a couple of years now, and now I actually get to, which is awesome. Kind of been building this up for 3 years in university, ever since I started in the sociology program. I've been building up to doing this research project, even though I didn't know it, but it was. So my thesis is obviously looking at the experiences of cancer patients. I'm specifically looking at adolescents and young adults that are treated in children's hospitals, mainly because I can't look at people that are being treated in like the Tom Baker or other adult facilities like that, because I don't have the resources to get names and to get my name out there to people to let them know about it. So I will be researching strictly people that were treated in the children's hospital here. So I'm going to be looking at a number of different themes that I personally think are really important, that I wish there had been more research done on when I was going through it. So some of those are home and family life, because that changes a lot. That changes a lot, especially when you're a teenager, because developmentally, typically teenagers and young adults are wanting to get more independence and kind of separate a little bit from needing their parents and needing the financial support. They want to go out and get jobs and to graduate high school, all that kind of stuff. But when you're thrown back and you're a cancer patient, and a lot of the research that I'm reading is actually backing this up, you kind of regress in your relationship with your parents. Like, you progress in the way that you're a lot closer and you kind of trust each other more, and you just are more willing to spend the time with your parents than other typical adolescents might be. But you regress in that all of a sudden you have to be taken care of like you are 5 and under again. You have to be fed sometimes. You have to have your food cooked for you. You have to be transported everywhere. Everything like that. You're regressed back to being a much younger age than you are mentally. Another area that I'm going to be looking at is school and education, because I don't think there's enough information out there for schools about what to do when a student or a student's sibling, even though I can't look at that in this project, what to do when they get diagnosed. Because when I was in high school, grade 12, grade 12 I was diagnosed. Oh, it's been a while. I had a couple of teachers that were not super understanding. I had a math teacher that kind of sent a note back to my parents saying, if Jenna doesn't start coming to classes, I'm going to stop sending the assignments home because it's unfair to the other students that come to class every day. And I believe my memory is a little bit foggy about this because I was on really heavy medication at the time, but I'm pretty sure my parents' response to that was, well, she's kind of going through chemo right now, and I don't think we can get her out of the hospital to come into class. Which I think is a really good response because, that's true. Also, at that point in time when the note was sent out to my parents had to, if I was laying down and I wanted to sit up to eat, my parents had to lift me because I had no muscle mass because of the steroids that I was put on, to even be able to sit up from a laying down position by myself. They had to lift that, which is another part of like regressing back to being a young child, is your parents have to start doing things like that for you again. But I wish that schools knew more about what to do. I know it's kind of rare, and not something that they're going to have to deal with like every year. But I still think it's something that they need to know how to deal with it when it does happen, because it does happen. Another thing that I'm going to be looking at is life in the hospital itself. Because, I don't know, it was great. The nurses and doctors at the Alberta Children's Hospital are amazing. Amazing people. They are so great. There were a lot of times where they would laugh and joke. I have pictures that I could show. They're probably already up on Facebook if you want to just like search through my pictures. There's an album that said hospital, I think. But they try their best to not make it feel like a hospital, which is great. Because when you're in there and you're feeling like crap and you have an IV sticking into your chest and you want nothing more than just to be at home and be normal, that's what these nurses and doctors do every single day. They make people feel like they're at home, or as much at home as they possibly can. They encourage you to bring in personal items from home, which I don't think they do at a lot of other places. However, as great as the nurses and the doctors are there, being treated in a children's hospital as an adolescent or a young adult does have its difficulties, because they are so used to dealing with such young kids all the time. And everyone just assumes that anyone there that looks like they're above the age of 8 is either a sibling, or if you look old enough, like I did at 17 years old, they start to assume that you're a parent. I was waiting for x-rays one day, and another parent said, "Oh, which one is yours? Do you have a little girl or a little boy here?" And I said, No, I'm the little girl. I'm getting treated in Unit 1 for cancer right now. I don't have a little girl, I am the little girl. Which, looking back on that, sounds kind of weird. But, so I want to look at the hospital life, because I think that there are a lot of things that could be done differently that need to change. And I know after talking to a lot of nurses and some of the doctors up there that they know that things need to change too. So I'm hoping that if I can put some research out there, some literature out there, that might be able to start being changed. So my main focus for my thesis is getting the word out there straight from the mouths of people that were treated in that setting, and not through their parents about what the kids' experience were. I don't want to talk to the parents. I will talk to parents eventually at some point, I'm sure. But I don't want to talk to a parent and say, okay, tell me about your son or daughter's experiences going through cancer. Because it needs to come from the people actually experiencing it, which I think is something new. But anyways, enough about the thesis. I just wanted to bring that up because I am really excited that I get to start writing my thesis about cancer, and I get to start that during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which I think I couldn't have planned this better, really. Anyways, so there's a couple of awesome organizations out there. The first one, and the only one that I'm going to mention, is the Kids Cancer Care Foundation of Alberta. They help so many kids. They have camps, they have events, all this kind of thing. So if you are able to, I would really love it if you could donate to them, obviously. This is not a challenge. I'm not challenging anyone. I'm not making any nominations, nothing like that. I'm just throwing it out there. If you're looking to donate either time or money or anything like that, I know they're always looking for volunteers. They're always looking for more donations. Donations are huge because it helps them run the camp. It helps them. They have a memorial scholarship for cancer survivors that are going to university, which I was lucky enough to get a few years ago, which is awesome. Thank you. But I do think that it is a very, very worthy cause. to not only do the research for cancer, which there's already a lot of money out there for that, but I think that people should also be donating to making the lives of the patients better. And that's what this organization does. The Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation also play a big part in that too, because the nurses and the doctors that work and make the people feel almost normal, not quite, but as normal as you can in that situation, work for the Alberta Children's Hospital, which has the foundation. So anyways, last little thing I want to say is, if you know a nurse that works with kids with cancer, teenagers with cancer, adults with cancer, anybody, they make a huge difference, so thank them for me and for every other patient out there. I want to thank Rav, Lindsay, Jenny, and all the other nurses I have, but I'm going to mention you three specifically because I actually have you on Facebook. You guys are amazing. I love all of you. I love all of you in a greater sense too, but the three of you that I can mention because you're on Facebook, love you. You are amazing and I miss you. Keep doing what you're doing. I know that you're off and on maternity leave every once in a while, which is awesome. I love seeing the kids' pictures. But keep doing what you're doing, and you are really, honestly, truly, 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 truly making a difference. And I hope that with my research I can make a fraction of the difference that you are making in everybody's lives every day.